It was a rude awakening for an elderly couple in Dillsboro earlier this week. A vehicle crashed into their home in the middle of the night.
As News 13's Rex Hodge reports, the couple and their family are grateful they escaped unharmed.
It was 12:30 in the morning on Tuesday when a vehicle came through at a high rate of speed, hitting this rocky lip here, jumping into the house there owned by Alvin and Belle Rochester, both in their 80s.
Yeah, it was sound asleep.
The house at the corner of Dillsboro and Old Hometown Roads is the longtime home of 88-year-old Alvin and his wife. In Alvin's family since 1942. Nothing like this ever happening.
You just heard a big racket, woke me up. I just about jumped out of the bed. All that dust in the house, I thought the house was on fire.
The force of the impact smashed their chimney into their living room. Glass and bricks strewn everywhere. His wife, top of mind.
Just went to see about her the time I got my shoes so I could get out.
Alvin says a deputy was there right away.
The time I got back out, they was knocking on the doors to seeing if we was all right.
It was kind of traumatic for everybody.
Alvin's grandson, David Birch, rushed to the scene that night, first worried about his grandparents.
They didn't know whether they was going to get to live in their own house. See that crack right there?
Yep.
That wasn't like that. There's several amounts of footage of foundation damage to the house.
But with initial repairs, the house is deemed livable, a structural engineer checking it out. Birch then trying to piece together what happened.
There was 3 people in the car.
The Highway Patrol report shows the driver, Ethan Matthew Leonard, is charged with careless and reckless driving and driving while license revoked. The investigation is ongoing.
Yeah, I hope they throw the book at them.
Birch is grateful, though, especially at this holiday time, his grandparents are okay.
I'm all right except for just disturbed, you know.
It's going to be more of a Thanksgiving than a Christmas.
It will be a very different Christmas for the Rochesters this year. They absolutely believe somebody was looking out for them.
Homeless advocates are upset after a homeless camp was demolished in the city of Asheville.
We know that a warning went out to people living there on Monday. The North Carolina Department of Transportation and Asheville Police started removing the camp near I-240 and the Haywood Street congregation this morning.
News 13's Andrew James talked to advocates who say it's likely that homeless community will set up a camp elsewhere.
We're still waiting to learn exactly what led to the removal of this camp. A spokesperson for the city of Asheville says they're expecting to release more information on Friday. We do know that the Asheville Police Department is investigating a body found at the camp this week and also reports of fights and fires. But that doesn't change the impact that this removal has on the people who've lived here for the past few weeks.
I just cried from my gut just watching these bulldozers and excavators like rip tents out and throw them in the dumpster.
A.B. Cantrell of beloved Asheville watched as tents, mattresses, sleeping bags, and other belongings were removed from the homeless camp Thursday morning. She tells me the camp was home to 35 tents and just over 50 people.
And we talk about shelter. We don't have enough shelter even for that many people, much less all the other people that we see.
Cantrell says the people removed from this camp will now be looking for another place to camp, saying Thursday's actions don't reflect the goals put forward by city leaders.
And if we are saying that we want to care for people in the long run, we have to do the same thing right now.
Homeless advocates pointed to plans for an emergency shelter at the Ramada as a step in the right direction, but those plans were scrapped last week and replaced with a permanent supportive housing proposal.
I'm all for permanent supported housing. I, question why it couldn't be done locally with local players.
Wednesday night, city leaders unveiled plans to bring in 2 outside organizations, a nonprofit and for-profit developer from California, to turn the Ramada into 100 units of permanent affordable housing with supportive services on site.
What I don't know about is that there is a private for-profit developer that is a part of this, and we're never profiting off the poverty of others.
The unknowns making these advocates question the plans and transparency behind the project.
If it were a local entity, I'd say 100% I'm for it. To be honest, I don't know enough about this development company.
Now, again, we do hope to get more information about the camp removal from the city of Asheville on Friday. As for the plans for the Ramada, we expect a vote from the Asheville City Council to happen next Tuesday.
A new state law regarding body camera footage went into effect last week.
News 13's Hannah McKenzie has more.
When it comes to requesting body cam footage, this new law takes the decision away from local law enforcement and instead places authority with a judge. But it only applies to instances where death or serious bodily injury have occurred. Effective December 1st, North Carolina Senate Bill 300, mandating it's no longer up to local law enforcement agencies to release officer-worn body cam footage. The decision now resting with a judge. The law only applies to instances in which a death or serious bodily injury has occurred. It states the court must make a determination within 7 days of receiving a request. The judge can rule one of 4 ways: release the recording without edits or redactions, release the recording with edits or redactions, release the recording at a later date with or without edits or redactions, or withhold the recording. The State Sheriff's Association petitioned for the change.
This is just another tool to keep us more accountable.
Buncombe County Sheriff Quentin Miller fully on board.
Me personally, I like the fact that there's a process and everyone knows what the process is. It's not this way for this case and that way for that case. So it's clear for us now what the procedures are.
But some say the new law needs some work. Do you think this law goes far enough when it comes to allowing for transparency with body cam footage?
I think it's a good first step to take those decisions out of the hands of law enforcement and put them with basically a more objective person, like with a judge.
Representative Brian Turner telling us the law should be extended to include releasing body cam footage of nonviolent stops, officer complaints, and other everyday incidents.
In many cases, it's the only objective record we have.
Miller says right now the Buncombe County Sheriff's Office is working to outfit their entire fleet with dash cam videos as well and hopes to one day incorporate that footage into this law too.